Hello, everyone. Welcome to Flippin the Script. I'm Amelia Acosta Powell, the Associate Artistic Director here at the Repertory Theater of St. Louis, and I'm thrilled to have on Flippin the Script today as our guest, Cliff Hannon, Company Manager. Hi, Cliff.
Hello.
So happy to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I'd love to start by just asking you to introduce yourself. Who you are, what you do here at the Rep, and how long you've been with us, as well as perhaps a fun fact about you that people might not know.
Sure. So I am Cliff Hannon. My pronouns are he, him. I am the company manager. I have been with the Rep since June of last year, so we're coming up on a year and at the end of this month. And a fun fact about me is I once bowled 7 strikes in a row.
That is a fun fact, and we've been friends for a long time, and I didn't even know that. So that's
I'm
definitely
a pretty good bowler.
A secret. Oh wow. Well, I would say that we should go bowling, but it's like a super communal experience, so we'll probably hold
Maybe
on
not
that.
Right now.
Also, I actually hate bowling, and I'm very bad at it. So, but I'm more than happy to play you in bowling on Clubhouse games on our Nintendo Switch. So
we could do that.
And now the world knows about our plans.
Yep.
So you're the company manager at the Rep. I think both company and manager are words that have a lot of different meanings in our field and in general. So can you tell folks who might not be familiar with that term what the responsibilities of a company manager are?
Yeah. So company manager, I think, or I know, refers to the company of actors, designers, directors. So I am basically in charge of, taking care of travel and housing for our out-of-town guest artists, and then kind of a catch-all care position for everyone involved in the productions during rehearsals and performances. So I check in with the company every day at rehearsals. I will, take care of recommending restaurants if that is needed, anywhere from recommending to restaurants to booking medical appointments, just making sure that they are comfortable in this space with us and have everything they need to be able to do the work in the room comfortably.
Absolutely. I think for me, and I think that you share this, that company management is also an artistic role in the sense that while there may not be the kind of direct, like the painters are obviously creating a physical work of art, but for me, company management lives in the artistic department because in order for artists to actually do the work that they do on stage or behind the scenes, because that work requires their bodies, their voices, them as people to show up and give of themselves, that you can really only do that if you are taken care of and if you have everything you need. So I think it really that work has such a direct effect on the quality of the art that the audience sees on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, I agree. I think having a good company manager is really important because if you've got guests in town that feel like they are, unsafe in any way or don't have things they need to complete their basic life tasks, then that's going to show up on stage or in the rehearsal room as well.
Definitely. I mean, I think as someone who has sometimes to travel for work and nobody does take care of me when I get there, I think that's really important because we don't just ask folks to travel in, for a couple of nights or whatever. You really have to make kind of a home away from home here. And so actors in our shows, for example, might be in town for 8 or 12 weeks away from the family that they are used to living with and the resources, even just like you say, the restaurants. So thank you for all of that work. People might also not know that the Rep actually owns apartments, which is also part of what you take responsibility for. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the rep owns a 20-unit apartment building near Webster University's campus. And so, I kind of act as a property manager for that space as well. One thing that kind of popped up that is not typical of this role, but during the pandemic, we all wear many hats. And so while we were not producing in-person productions, we did turn that into rentals, which was an important source of revenue for the theater. And so during that time, we had a lot of traveling nurses and educators coming and staying with us for short periods of time. And it was, I think, mutually beneficial for us to be able to take in some revenue to help the community in that way, and use a resource that we had sitting there anyway.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for that. I think it was pretty much the rep's only source of revenue for a period while we had no events. So very grateful for that. I'm curious about your backstory. We are, of course, storytellers in the theater. So can you tell me about how you originally got interested in theater, and what your trajectory was from there into a company management role and that brought you to the rep?
Sure, yeah. So I started doing theater in high school after my freshman year. I had a very lonely freshman year, moving from a Catholic grade school into a public school. And then I found my community, of course, in the theater. And I was doing, I think, sound originally, which I was terrible at. I did, of course, like basic crew positions, running shows. And then I started doing scenic design and stage management. I ended up being the tech director at my old high school for a couple of years for their summer school program. And then I went to college for theater and majored in theater design and technology with an emphasis in stage management and scenic design. And then I went and did an internship at the Denver Center Theater Company, where I was interning in the stage management department. So I worked with them for a season. And then they asked me to apply for the assistant company manager position. And at the time I was, a little bit unsure what that position was, because, you don't really learn about company management in school. So by, luck and good relationships with the company management team there, I got that position and have been in company management pretty much ever since. So I started at the Denver Center, and then I worked at the O'Neill in Connecticut and Arena Stage with you, Amelia, and now here at the Rep.
And we're so lucky to have you. I'm unfortunately for you, I know more about you than our average guest, and I have to point out that I don't think you started in theater in high school, because I've seen some pretty cute pics of you younger than that doing some performance.
Well, that's a whole other side of, that's probably the only performance I have ever done.
You didn't love it. You
did not love it.
To the backstage. Why was that?
I am terrified of the stage. That's not where I belong. I was quickly backstage.
Fair enough. I similarly quickly found, actually not as quickly as I wish, found that was not my calling. So I can support it, but I just want the world to know it was pretty cute. So in your career in company management, not just at the Rep, but at Denver and O'Neill and Arena and here, can you talk about what some of the most rewarding aspects of that work are, and then what some of the greatest challenges are?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I love the most about company management is being able to work with so many different artists, to be able to work with designers, directors, of course, performers, consultants, dialect folks, fight captain or fight choreographers. I've met some really incredible people during my career, and really gotten to know them, because when you're taking care of someone, you don't always bond with them deeply, because some people need a lot less than others, but it's really cool to be able to build relationships with so many people, and because theater is such a revolving door in a good way. from production to production. We've got so many people coming through, so that has been really cool. I just love the community that theater brings. And with that kind of hand in hand, the challenge of that is that there are so many different personalities. So managing personalities is a big challenge, and yeah, I think the challenge and the reward.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I don't think it's any secret that big personalities find themselves in the performing arts, for sure. Well, digging a little bit more into that, we're going to give the benefit of the doubt that everyone you work with here at the Rep is absolutely wonderful all the time. But in your career trajectory, as you've worked with, some big names, some stars, or any artists who might have had some big personalities, without sharing names or, creating any problems for yourself, do you have any crazy stories of outlandish requests that you can share with us? Like, you think about the only all green M&Ms for the performer backstage or things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've got plenty of stories. The stories that I want to share here publicly are limited. But I worked with a performer one time who was a vocalist, and he was very careful about his instrument. And so he was doing a show during the winter time, and he would only drink smart water, and he did not have any in his apartment. And so he requested, or more so demanded, that we drive him 2 doors down the block to the CVS to pick up some smart water. That was a little bit outrageous. Another one, I had an actress that I worked with once in a large community environment where we were sharing a 15-passenger van, and there would be a lot of back and forth. And this actress had a very specific brand of cigarette that she needed and knew exactly what gas station to find it at. And so we would have to drive 15 other performers to this gas station to get her cigarettes.
Wow.
I don't know if I've ever told you that one.
No.
And then not necessarily a request, but I did have a performer, a big name performer that I worked with one time who was an older gentleman, and he had, not surprisingly and justifiably, very specific requirements for his housing. And so he wasn't clear about what those requirements were. So we had to do a lot of touring of apartments and corporate housing apartments around the city. So the first time that he showed up, we showed him our company housing, which was not fancy by any means. And we walked in, and something had happened with the sewage or with the water in the bathroom, and the entire apartment smelled like rotten eggs. And so he had made a trip to DC from New York specifically to see this apartment that was clearly never going to be an option for him. So he had to go back, and he ended up coming down to DC twice after that to look at, I think, probably 6 or 7 different corporate housing apartments before he found one he liked.
Oh. Well, all of those folks, we're lucky to have you taking good care of them. I'm curious this was not a pre-approved question, I'm sorry. What do you do inside your head while you're driving someone 2 doors down to get smart water, or going on, endless corporate housing tours? Like, how do you maintain? I know for a fact you maintain with anyone, regardless of their needs, requests, wants, etc., the warmest, most friendly, supportive engagement. How do you decompress from that, or deal with the realities of it's seriously my job to accommodate that?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I am really good in my own mind of putting myself in the other person's position. like with this gentleman who needed the smart water, I'm thinking, this is his career, this is his moneymaker, so I get that, he's got a system for himself that works. And so if I need to drive, 2 doors down to a CVS to accommodate that instrument, then it's really only 30 minutes out of my day, and hopefully he'll appreciate it, and I'll get some kind of, I'll feel like I'm in with that person. I'll get some kind of gratitude out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's such a good and empathetic approach, and I can learn from that of always putting myself in their position, which is absolutely the right thing to do.
I suppose. Sometimes.
If folks who might watch this, we do, any range of people watch it. There might be young folks, students, people interested in the theater career. If anyone was interested in pursuing company management, what advice would you have for them?
That's a great question. I mean, company management positions are not super abundant, but they are high turnover positions. So if you're looking for a company management position, you probably wouldn't have to wait too long to find one open up, because I find that company management is often a stepping stone to a producer position or a general management position. That's not been the case for me because I love company management so much, but that is, I think, more often than not the case. But really remember that, like, this is not a position that is glamorous or a way to meet celebrities, because that's kind of defeats the purpose. And the last thing that a company would want in a company manager is someone that gets starstruck. But but if you do have a lot of patience and you do love to kind of interact with people and kind of, it feels a little bit reductive to call it a hospitality position, but it is a bit of a hospitality position. Then I would say, yeah, keep an eye on the Lord theaters, on backstage jobs, and you'll see some open up, especially right now, I'm sure, after the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. Absolutely. If you could change one thing about our industry, and it doesn't have to be about company management, although it certainly can, what would you change?
I would say the hours. I think it's becoming more and more of a topic of discussion, right? This idea that we are rehearsing and performing 7 days or 6 days a week, that the hours can be really quite wild. And I don't think it's necessary. I feel like the work that we do is great, and it takes itself very seriously in ways that are important and other ways that are not so important. And I think we could all learn to kind of find some more work-life balance.
Definitely true. And especially for a position like yours that literally has an on-call cell phone all the time in case someone needs something.
Right.
Yeah. I hope we can enact that change for the both of us.
Right.
As you know, I always like to close out our Flippin' the Script episodes with a round of fun facts in 60 seconds. Are you ready for a lightning round?
So ready.
Okay. I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock and ask you a series of hard-hitting questions.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Set. Good. What's your favorite board game?
Settlers of Catan.
What's the last book you read or listened to?
Where the Crawdads Sing.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, an artist?
Newspaper or magazines?
Newspaper, but I'm just doing the Sudoku.
Yeah. Morning person or night owl?
I'm a night owl who wishes he was a morning person.
Puppies or kittens?
Puppies.
Favorite show to binge watch?
Ooh, Big Mouth.
Was the last play you saw?
Oh man, last play I saw.
Or virtual production?
Virtual production. In This House? Is that the name of the production we saw
Someone
at the
else's
Geffen?
house?
Someone else's house.
Video calls or audio calls?
Video.
That was 60 seconds.
That's so fast.
I know, it is. But you answered a lot. I appreciate
Thanks.
it. Thank you for coming on Flippin' the Script. It is so great to have folks get a chance to know you a little bit more. And as you already know, you're one of my favorite people. I so enjoyed working with you at Arena Stage, so much so that I had to bring you out to St. Louis. And it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the team at the Rep, and just can't wait to continue the great work with you.
I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We will see the rest of you soon. We'll be back with another episode of Flippin' the Script 2 weeks from today. And there may even be some special guests coming on from our current production, which is Mlima's Tale by Lynn Nottage, that is performing at Coca in the brand new Burgess Theater, May 28th to July 11th. So highly encourage you to check that out. Single tickets are on sale now, repstl.org. If you don't already have your Mlima's Tale tickets, definitely check that out. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again next time.